Out of the 1960 White House conference, several significant things have happened. Number one, the Medicaid and Medicare federal programs came into being. The establishment of state agencies and federal agencies also came about as far as the conference itself. More recently, I think there are some shifts that are taking place in reference to our senior citizens. One is the matter of an increase in numbers and in the percentage of our population, which is increasing to a very large degree.
The voter in this bond election puts his votes in one or the other of these two boxes. One box is for the voter who is a property owner. The other is for the voter who is not. The reason is that the Supreme Court is now in the process of testing the constitutionality of bond elections with only property owners voting. This election is for $18 million worth of bonds. These bonds, if passed by the voters, will finance 3 years of school construction here in Richardson. This is the first bond election in Richardson in 3 years. School officials say if the election is successful, taxes will go up 12 cents per $100 evaluation. The bonds will finance the first phase of one junior high school and additions to 2 others, 4 elementary schools, and additions to 15 other school buildings here in Richardson. For Channel 8 News on the Move, this is Jess Brown in Richardson.
Oh, you always get these old fogies about throwing cold water on any advanced project. There've been many examples of scares of that kind which haven't come to anything.
Do you think the SST will be worth the environmental pollution it may cause?
I don't know that it is going to cause any important environmental pollution. Why should it do so any more than the subsonic jet?
Well, the problem I think that the opponents are talking about is the hydrocarbons congealing the ozone or something in the upper atmosphere and causing that ozone layer to dissipate.
I've never heard that.
Well, there's quite a bit of chaos because of the fact that many people are finding that they may have 3 or 4 children. Normally those 3 or 4 children will be going to the same school, and now they find that they've got to take them to 2 or 3 or 4 separate schools. Transportation is a tremendous problem. Our schools opened yesterday. As far as the schools themselves, open without incident, totally and completely integrated. But the transportation problem is, as I said, just chaos. I think that the best way to do this is on a neighborhood school basis. Taking care, as our schools always have, of neighborhoods. When you start transferring children across town for the purpose of playing with numbers, then you've lost sight of education. And this is what we're doing at the present time. We're not concerned about education, we're concerned about numbers in a school, and this is not the purpose of education, not the purpose of our school.
mobile homes have really extended themselves quite a bit. So we remember the days when they were just 12 feet wide, 50 feet long. Now they're going up to 16 feet wide and 80 feet long. So now you have a full 3, 4, and sometimes a 5-bedroom home.
What sort of new construction facilities are exhibited here at the show this year?
Well, we could not, because of the doors in the facility, bring 16-footers in width in. But we do have 80-foot long units and 14-foot wide. We have many units which have, instead of the normal metal exterior, have wood. We have what they call unitized construction, which are units that can have the wheels removed readily. We have all electric units, which is something brand new now starting in this area. Most units are set with gas.
Unusual number of these come on Friday afternoons when people want off work.
Do you mean that a person would actually threaten a building with a bomb just to get an afternoon off work?
Yes, I believe they would. In fact, we had information that one bomb threat came from a woman who was unhappy about her husband being kept to work overtime so often.
I understand that yesterday when we had 7 bomb threats, 3 of them or 4 of them came within just a few minutes of each other, 3 or 4 minutes. Would that seem to indicate someone playing pranks?
It possibly could. Of course, we have to be concerned with the fact there could be something else in their mind that they might want to get the police off the streets for a robbery or some other crime in the downtown area. Because of this, we moved extra units into the downtown area in case this was what was in mind.
This brings up another problem. When someone threatens a building with a bomb, that shortens the police force in that particular area. Is there a way to combat against this? It makes you kind of vulnerable, doesn't it?
It does. The only way to combat it is move police in from other areas of the city, which we had to do yesterday. If we hadn't moved police from other parts of the city in, the downtown area would have been practically completely without uniformed officers.
What would you say to the young black militant today?
Right on, baby. That's what I'd say to them. Because they don't listen to nobody. Nobody listens to nobody just going, We've been doing that for 90 million years, sitting in church going, and oh, hallelujah, and ain't nothing happened. I say, if you don't do something, then do it. Then at least, that's like the old joke. The guy takes a sledgehammer, hits the mule in the top of the head with it, bam. He said, now that's just to get your attention. As much as I abhor violence, we must know that out of violence has come some positive things. But when we start to kill each other, when we start to wipe each other out as human beings, then it's wrong. But I can understand the frustration. I don't agree with that, but I can understand the frustration that the cat says, I'm living in a hellhole in essence, and I'm going to burn it to the ground.
Today's briefing on the proposed Lakeview Reservoir was scheduled before word came down from Washington that no money would be available to buy land this year. Still, the tone of the briefing here at Dallas Baptist College was optimistic. Corps of Engineers Colonel Ralph Christofferson admitted that reservoir costs had zoomed from $36 to $73 million, but he said the reservoir was the highest priority item in the Fort Worth district, and he said the first problem, moving one of the highways through the area, would get underway as soon as the money came down from Washington. After the briefing, the officials moved outside for an old-time Texas barbecue. I talked with Congressman Olin Teague about the possibility of getting money through Congress for the reservoir.
Phil, I think the chances are excellent in the next year. Of course, it was not in the budget this year, except for the $112,000, which has passed, and it'll be signed by the president soon and be law. But I think that next year, if it's in the president's budget, and I'm very confident it will be, that there'll be no problem in the Congress at all.
About when do you anticipate the reservoir should be finished?
Oh, gee, Phil, I don't know that answer. You're going to have to ask the Corps of Engineers, but I think from here on it'll move rather rapidly.
Is there any advantage in trying to push for the money as soon as possible? Costs keep going up, and it seems that the longer we delay, the more it's going to cost us.
Phil, there isn't any question that the costs around Lakeview are going up more rapidly than other areas of Dallas. And the longer we wait, it will cost more money. But also, there is more pressure this year for the federal dollar than any time since I've been in Congress. And there are just hundreds of projects, and there's not enough money for all of them. But there isn't any question that the longer we delay, the more the project will cost.
So despite the soft economy, despite the lack of money, people around Lakeview Reservoir are certain the lake is going to be built, and soon. They expect to be water skiing on it in just a few years. This is Phil Reynolds, Channel 8 News, near the proposed Lakeview Reservoir.
I don't know that I would say they have not had the accountability. Perhaps we're just putting the spotlight on this matter of accountability because it's so very important now. I feel the teachers through the years have realized the importance of accountability, but maybe we have just not put anything down in black and white, so to speak, to spotlight this area of accountability.
You think teachers as a whole have been doing their very best to educate the children of our state?
By and large, I would say yes. I think we are very fortunate in Texas to have many professional teachers and teachers who are dedicated. I think if you will look at the salary schedules through the past years, this will be one indication that we have many teachers have remained in the profession in spite of low salary schedules.